but are only a game and a half out of first and could finish anywhere in the division. Today, it's a rematch as the Sockers host the Blast. ESPN, the Total Sports Network, and Anheuser-Busch Sports Productions present the Major Indoor Soccer League. Is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Spalding, the official ball of the Major Indoor Soccer League. And by Metropolitan Life and affiliated companies. Get Met. It pays. From the San Diego Sports Arena, it's the Baltimore Blast going up against the San Diego Sockers. Hello, everyone. I'm John Paul Della Camera. Alongside me is Shep Messing. We're here to bring you what we think is a typical Baltimore-San Diego game, except for one major difference, Shep. Baltimore's in fourth place. San Diego's still in first, but what a surprise with Baltimore in fourth.
Well, San Diego's clinched first place, and they might have a tendency to let down against some teams in the MISL. Baltimore is not one of those teams. It's a great rivalry. Baltimore is on a losing streak. That's unusual, but they have the coach and they have the players to turn it around.
What does Baltimore have to do today specifically to beat San Diego?
Well, they're getting back the pizza man, Stan Stamenkovic. He's missed 4 games. He's back on the field today. They need to score goals. They haven't scored enough goals. Coming into San Diego, they have to score 5 or 6 goals to be in the game.
Baltimore has just more than Stan, and now let's take a look at Shep Messing's players to watch for the Baltimore Blast.
Stan Stamenkovic, the pizza man, back after missing 4 games. He makes the Baltimore team go. And Keith Van Aaron having an outstanding year in goal for Baltimore. Richard Chinapu, a Cinderella story, an all-star this season.
And here's the big man doing what he does best, putting points on the board. 33 goals, that's one of them, against the Chicago Sting. And now Shep's players to watch for San Diego.
Branko Segota playing without the shadow of Steve Jungle, third in the MISL. And Jimmy Gorsick, the All-American boy, an outstanding year in goal. Brian Quinn, the motor that makes the San Diego engine run.
And Branko Segota with 50 goals. This is one of those as he beats the Los Angeles Lakers. One of the goals that the Sockers have now is to give Branko an MISL scoring championship. And we'll be back for the kickoff between Baltimore and San Diego next. Welcome back to San Diego. John Paul Della Camera along with Shep Messing. Lukic will put it in play, and we're underway as the Baltimore Blast have control. He goes by the first name only of Lukic. Actually, that's his last name. But like Tattoo and other players around the league, Batata, he'll go by that name. He has played with Stan Stamenkovic before in Yugoslavia. We'll see what he does as he gets adjusted to the indoor game. That's him, Lukic with the ball, number 11 for the Blast. Reverses it for Bruce Savage, an all-star defender in the MISL, for Chinapu, who joined him on that all-star squad. Back for Savage. He's marked up by Woolrich. The goalkeepers for this game, Jim Gorsick for San Diego, ranked number 2 in the league. Keith Van Aaron ranked number 1, so we may have a goalkeeper's battle on our hands before this one is over. Buriano for Chinapu, marked up by Julie V. For Lukic, nice turn, but then he loses to Gene Woolrich, and here come the Sockers. Leading the Western Division, Woolrich going long for Kevin Crow. Slowed down by Buriano. Out for Julie V. Baltimore's lost 7 straight on the road in their last 3 overall. And they've only won 3 out of their last 10.
Well, there's no doubt they're in a slump. This is a difficult place in San Diego against these Sockers to break a slump, but the pressure's on. Baltimore's in a dogfight in the East. They must win ball games.
And the man that just got fouled, Shep, is a guy that can really carry the whole team on that big frame of his, Stan Stamenkovic.
Well, there's no doubt they're going to look to Stan. He missed 4 games. He's back in there today. They're going to look to post him down low. Stan has that innate ability to dish the ball off and get an assist, or he could go to the goal and crack a shot.
Spent all last week in the hospital, 5 days with an infection. Cellulitis is what they called it. I wasn't sure what that was, so we just left it at an infection.
Cellulite. That's a Jane Fonda exercise. Isn't that women have that cellulite?
I'm not sure. Stan Stamenkovic with the ball, and the crowd lets them know how they feel. But what a great player he is. Julie B will knock it away. Sockers look for it in a scoreless tie back for Gorsic. A collision. Lukic gets the foul.
And that's good action. We get a look at Jimmy Gorsic and at 3.78 goals against average. Outstanding. He's an American player that really started late professionally. I believe he started at the age of 26. He's just done gangbusters for the San Diego team.
Only 2 losses. Adi Coker and Chinapu. And they're going to call that one the other way, similar to an offensive foul. So Keith Van Aaron will put the ball back in play for the Blast. No score. There's Baltimore's road record. In the past, their road record has been good, but right now they're at 7-14. Bruce Savage, one of the better man-to-man markers in the entire league. Up for Dave McWilliams, who's been bothered by some injuries this year, to Timmy Whitman, who we're seeing as a forward. Normally, Timmy Whitman is a defender, but Kenny Cooper has moved him up. Whitman also on the All-Star team, has 21 goals this year, ranking number 2 on this team. Missing the ball is Nikolic along the boards, and Adi Coker will get it. Coker waits to set up for Brian Quinn. The shot goes wide of Keith Van Aaron and is picked up by another newcomer, Billy Ronson, who played over in England in the 2nd division, trying to bring it back along the boards, and it's all the way back for Jim Gorsic. So some new units for Ken Cooper.
When we talked to Coach Ken Cooper, he's doing everything he can to shake up this team. He's yelled at him, he's screamed at him, he's making some changes in line adjustments. He even gave him 2 days off before this game. They need a victory.
Branko Segota, number 3 in the MISL in scoring, has it headed away by Savage. Whitman trying to settle right back to the keeper, and Van Aaron is there. Long throw up the field. Van Aaron looking for Ronson. Gorsic misses an open net. Ronson scores. And Keith Van Aaron, one of the better MISL goalkeepers, Shepin, looking for the long ball, and Ronson gets his first MISL point.
Billy Ronson giving a high five, and you're absolutely right. The outlet pass, here's the ball. Watch Gorsic. Fan on it. Nutmeg, and Ronson follows up, puts it in the back of the net. A great opportunistic goal coming off the outlet pass from Keith Van Aaron. Ronson putting it in.
So Baltimore takes the early lead 1-0 on a Billy Ronson goal. The time of it at 2:53. The Blast lead the Sockers. We're back at a noisy San Diego Sports Arena. And they're noisy. They want to rally their Sockers, who trail by the score of 1-0 and a nice goal. And we have a false start on that kick. But Billy Ronson's going to remember his first MISL goal.
Well, there's no doubt, and we talked about the goalkeepers before the game, Van Aaron and Gorsic. They're American goalkeepers. Their skills playing the ball with their feet are not great. And Gorsic that time came out to read the pass, misfired kicking the ball. The opportunistic goal for that man, Billy Ronson.
They're going to call the foul the other way on San Diego a little bit late, as the crowd acknowledges. Ken Cooper said that if they can stay close at halftime, that they have got a great chance of winning this game, because San Diego usually blows teams out early. 74 goals they've scored, Shep, in the first quarter, 28 for the opposition.
And San Diego has so much talent on the field that if they get a 2-goal lead in a game, they hold on to the ball, and they're very difficult to catch when they have a 2-goal lead. Baltimore off to a super start in this game, getting that all-important first goal.
Dave McWilliams gives for Tim Whitman. Right back the other way. Nikolic is tackled away, and now San Diego will get the ball. Julie B the other way. Wad Hermes for Kevin Crow. Crow, last year's top defender in the MISL. Looking long. Whitman is there to cover, getting it ahead of Ladasor. Tim Whitman along the boards for the big man, Stan Stamenkovic. On the run. One of the better passes you'll ever find to Lukic. Off those boards, looking for someone, but it's going to be chipped right back to Jimmy Gorsic.
And that's a case where Lukic got the ball down deep. He couldn't find anybody at the top of the box, and he just hit a ball off the boards. It really was not to any player. Good idea, but nobody home.
Woolrich looking, he'll get his own ball. Claville hesitated on that run when he saw Woolrich had the better angle. Woolrich across the field for Hermes. Wad Hermes cutting, broken up by Chinapu. Richard trying to send it back, broken up. Good hustle, touch on Namdar, and a foul is going to be called on the Baltimore Blast. So a quick free kick coming up here for the San Diego Sockers, who trail 1-0. 10.5 to go, first quarter. Set in play by Namdar for Gene Woolrich. Woolrich, the Sockers captain. Picked up by Stamenkovic for Juan Hermes. San Diego down at home, 1-0. Lukic. They try to draw a penalty there, or a foul. Ruotolo drops it back, and it's cleared all the way back to Keith Van Aaron. Now for Ernie Buriano, his first shift of the game. Back for Lukic. Now Stamenkovic with a backheel flick for Richard Chinipu. Back for the Magic Man. Upfield for Buriano. This crowd's going to get a good test if they're going to boo every time Stamenkovic touches the ball. Somebody may lose their voice here because he is going to handle that ball a lot. And the more he handles it, the better Baltimore's chances are. Stamenkovic with it. Waits for some support. Cuts outside. Double team. Has it knocked away from him. Lukic, good recovery to maintain possession for Chinipu. Blast leading 1-0. A Chinipu shot is wide. Chinipu follows up. It's kicked high off the glass, back for Jim Gorsuch. And Gorsuch will look for someone. So far, I think Shep Baltimore has done a good job in taking the play to San Diego.
Well, there's no doubt Baltimore knows the pressure on them for today's game. They came out flying. They're putting defensive pressure on when San Diego has the ball. They're not wasting any time making that transition when they win the ball, getting up to attack.
Lukic back for Chinipu. He goes long, too long. Looked like it hit somebody off the Baltimore bench, but there's no call, so apparently it did not touch anyone. On the far side, it's picked up by Kevin Crowe. 1-0 Baltimore lead. Billy Ronson's first goal from Van Aaron at 2:53. His first goal in the MISL, just joined the team a couple weeks ago. Buriano trying to come back through traffic. No room there. The Blast playing without Mike Stankovic, out with a separated shoulder, maybe for about a couple of weeks. That's a tough loss. One of the real strong defenders in this league who comes forward. Had 33 goals a year ago. Kevin Crowe settling back now for the Sockers. For Adi Coker. This might be your first look at San Diego in a while without Steve Jungle, but they're 11-4 without Steve. They've done well. So is Tacoma with him. Quinn for Crowe. Score! It's all tied up. Kevin Crowe will get credit for the goal.
And that's the explosive power of San Diego. How many times we've seen Brian Quinn. Brian Quinn, watch him lay this ball off to Kevin Crowe. We saw it in an earlier game. There's Kevin Crowe with really a poor percentage shot, but he hit it hard and he hit it low. There's Brian Quinn looking around for the runner. He fakes inside, dishes it out to the outside. Kevin Crowe, the rule, when you want to shoot far post, shoot low, and that's what Kevin Crowe did, the All-American from San Diego State.
With all those passes back and forth, was Baltimore maybe guilty of ball watching?
Well, there's no doubt nobody picked up the runner. Kevin Crowe making the overlapping run past Brian Quinn. Really a low percentage shot for Kevin Crowe, but Brian Quinn dished off the ball. No Baltimore player picked up Crowe, and he cracked it into the goal.
3 fouls on San Diego, 2 on Baltimore. Baltimore will get it back. Savage for Ronson. Billy, who had the first goal of the game for Whitman on a good run. Timmy with good speed off the boards looking for help. Help not there, but now it's picked up. Dave McWilliams for Ronson. Back for McWilliams. Knocked away, and the Sockers could have a break. Woolrich wanting to find an open man who is Segota on the run, but a nice recovery by Nikolic.
And things wide open. Baltimore sending 5 players forward, and near San Diego on the counter.
Villa on the steal, coming through. Holds it, plays it in, save of beauty. Van Aaron robs Bronco Segota. Woolrich has it headed away now by Bruce Savage. And it's cleared by Ronson, but Van Aaron showed why right there. He's #1 of the MISL. With a save like that, Cheppy earns his money.
Great action. In that case, Julie V had the ball. He dished it off to Bronco Segota. Julie V could have taken the shot. I think he was trying to serve up Bronco. As you mentioned before the game, they're looking for Bronco Segota to win the scoring championship in the MISL, but Keith Van Aaron came up big on the save.
Kevin Crowe with it for Julie V. Sockers are in a position to set 9 records before this campaign is over. But that's all they're going to shoot for is that foul on San Diego, because they've already clinched the Western title. But they don't want to peak too early and then fade right now with the season a little bit better than a week more to go. They want to go in there strong like they've been all year. 3-line violation. Nikolic knows that, so it comes back to the first line that it came over. And from that center spot, V puts it in quickly, too quick, as it was knocked away, but they'll get it back. San Diego in a 1-1 tie with Julie V and 6:28 to go. First quarter, it's shot high and wide by Namdar, headed back by Nikolic dangerously, and now it goes into the seats out of play. There'll be all kinds of discussion on this one.
Well, that's going to be a corner kick. I believe it went off Keith Van Aaron.
We're going to have an official's timeout on the field anyway, so both teams get a chance to talk things over. We've got 6:21 to go here in the first quarter in San Diego, and your score is even at 1 goal each. There's your score. Baltimore and San Diego are tied at 1, and here's what almost happened, Shep.
Watch Julie V. I think he should have taken that shot himself. Instead, he gave it to Branko Segota. Segota didn't get enough on it with a left foot. Keith Van Aaron came up with a big save.
I really thought V was going to shoot it myself, but he was holding off, trying to get Van Aaron to commit and then find Branko. Here's a corner kick. Here's where a lot of goals happen in the MISL. Played in front, but it's deflected right back by Buriano to Keith Van Aaron, and Richard Chinipu comes up limping. Baltimore can't afford any more injuries. They've been hurt this year by several bad injuries. On the left, Brian Quinn, a real spark plug. Over midfield. Quinn, a member of the Western Division All-Star team. For Julie V. Nice cut, shot off the boards. Don't know if Van Aaron got a piece of that or not. He reached back for it, but I thought it was just a little wide.
And again, the action created by that midfielder, Brian Quinn. We see a hard foul down in the corner as Stamenkovic gets up and is going to put the ball in play. But Brian Quinn making things happen for San Diego.
That's 5 fouls on the Sockers, 3 on Baltimore. San Diego is the most penalized team. Baltimore's last road win, February the 4th. They'd like to end that miserable streak today. Julie V will get it against Savage. Good run. Shoulder to shoulder. Nice save on the shot from V by Van Aaron. Ernie Buriano trying to move it out of traffic. Numbers were not there in Baltimore's favor. And San Diego will get it back. Jacques Ladouceur for Brian Quinn. Quinn has the assist in the tying goal. It was scored by Crow. Julie V. With Chinipu right on him. Taken away. The crowd wanting a foul, but they don't get one. Rod Hermes with it. 5:06 to go. First quarter, even at 1. V, who can turn very well, but not if he's held like that by Chinipu. That's 4 fouls in Baltimore. Remember, if you get 6, it'll cost you a man in the box for 2 minutes. Ladouceur on the free kick coming up. A direct kick now. It's going to be Quinn giving it up. Hermes shoots it. It's blocked wide. Kevin Crow, who had the tying goal for Ladouceur. Picked up by Bruce Savage. Played back. Now it's Rod Hermes. Fouls. Both teams in foul problems. Ladouceur off those boards. Knocked away by Chinipu. Savage after it. Back for Stamenkovic. Great dribbling skills. And he gives it right back to Keith Van Aaron. Psychologically, the fact that Stamenkovic is out there, even if he's not 100%, that's a big lift for Baltimore.
Well, there's no doubt. Stan Stamenkovic is a player all the Blast players look to create goals. He's got to take a position more forward in the field. Right now, he's getting the ball way in the back in the defensive third. It's going to be difficult for him to do damage from that spot.
He'll lose it there. Namdar plays it for Quinn. In front, save Van Aaron. Rebound is kicked off Van Aaron by his own player, Bruce Savage, but Van Aaron holds the fort.
And a great save by Keith. Keith read the pass, came up big on that save. He anticipated it, read it, made his move, and intercepted the pass. Actually, if that ball gets by Keith Van Aaron, it's in the back of the net.
That's one of the few times you really see Stan Stamenkovic lose a ball like that, but he was playing very deep. And he's not as dangerous, obviously, in that spot.
Well, you'll find attacking players like Stan, they come back into the midfield because they have difficulty getting the ball up front. Sometimes you lose your marker, you lose your defensive man by retreating, coming back defensively.
Stamenkovic trying to pass it off, broke it up. Ruotolo on a 3-on-1, too far in front of him. Knocked away by Franz Mathieu. Fine defensive play. Woolrich keeps it up for San Diego. Takes when it goes upstairs, but did Whitman get a piece of it? There's Gene Woolrich, who missed out on that opportunity. We're tied at 1 from San Diego. We're coming right back. And we're back in San Diego. John Paul Della Camera with Shep Messing, and the man you're looking at, Kevin Crow, scored the tying goal. It's 1 apiece, and we see both teams actually talking things over. Ken Cooper called the timeout. He doesn't like what he's seeing of late, Shep. He liked what he saw earlier, I think.
Well, Ken Cooper went nuts. I think he directed his anger at Stan Stamenkovic. Kenny talking to the troops right now, but Stamenkovic made a poor square pass. First, he lost the ball defensively in his own third, creating an opportunity for San Diego. Then, on the last time down the floor, Stan made a square pass that set San Diego free on a 3-on-1. Kenny Cooper called a timeout immediately, and he went nuts over there on the bench. There's no time for mistakes at this stage in the season for Ken Cooper and the Baltimore Blast.
Kenny's in a difficult spot. He saw his team go from 1st to 4th place in a week. That's how crazy this Eastern Division is. So One day you're in first place, and it was true earlier this week. They lost a game to Dallas, and here they are in fourth. So Kenny Cooper, one of the very finest coaches, same thing with Ron Newman on the opposite side, finding out that fourth place is a little bit different, but he's working very hard at it. He has said to me earlier that injuries are not an excuse. He's had a lot of injuries, but a lot of people that he thought would have picked up as leaders have not. Van Aaron throwing it long. Segota heading it up. Same with Kanakalides. Now Nikolic, who was picked up earlier in the season after Baltimore had some injury problems. Back to Van Aaron. He'll blast it out of there. Wilrich against Whitman in a 1-1 tie. Plays it in just too far for Segota, who really could have done some damage to that leg as he banged into the boards. And we've got a Nikolic foul that will even it up at 5. Tell you how fearless though Segota is. He really went hard into those boards. He wasn't concerned.
And this is the impressive thing about San Diego. Watch Wilrich. He breaks down past Tim Whitman. Whitman collects himself. Now watch Segota at the far post. He goes sliding into the MISL sign. Could have done some damage both to the sign and to himself, but there's no lack of intensity here.
Here's a quick shot wide. Clavillo missing. Matthew knocking it back to Whitman. Good lead pass now. A little slow as I think back on McWilliams. Looked good at the start for Matthew off the boards, but Gorsuch is there. They had the right idea, but the pass just didn't have enough pace on it to get there. Adi Coker the other way in a 1-1 tie. 2:28 to go, first quarter. Wilrich against Whitman. Putting the brakes on, has Kanakalides with him. Kanakalides feeding Adi Coker, who missed 14 games earlier this season with a foot injury. He had an injury several years ago. Doctors doubted he'd ever play again, but he's there. Picking up goals. Wilrich back out for Clavillo in a 1-1 tie. Both of these teams coming off losses. That's a 6th foul, no matter who it's called on. 6th foul is called right there on Baltimore. So the Blast will be a man down. Penalty killing wise, they've killed off 15 straight. Wichita holds a record for most penalties killed consecutive. That is 16. Baltimore comes in with the 5th best penalty killing unit. On the opposite side, the Sockers have struggled on the power play, 28.6%. They are tied for 8th, but the players to look for: Segota with 8, Coker with 4, and one guy who you normally look for, Perez with 5, but he had to sit out this game, I neglected to say at the beginning, because of 20 minutes in penalties. We look at Michael Collins, one of many talented Americans in the MISL, who will sit out the 2-minute minor penalty.
And we talk about the greatness of San Diego. Perhaps it's that very greatness that makes them struggle on the power play. Each one has such individual skill that they don't do what they should do on the power play. That is, make the ball do the work, pass it, one-touch pass it.
Segota for Hermes, sending it off the boards, and now Chinipu will clear. That's part of what you're talking about right there.
That's a perfect example, really. 2 passes, poor shot selection. Wide Hermes cracked a shot at goal with really nothing on. You got to work this ball around.
Segota, 1 shot, another shot, score for Hermes, and it's 2-1 as Hermes gets the rebound of a Segota drive.
Whoa! Just as we're talking, shots on goal make for action. What's Segota? Segota. Keith Van Aaron gets down with the right hand. A big save. Keith a little bit slow getting up. Wide Hermes tucks it right on the inside post. Half Keith Van Aaron. Keith very upset at that goal. Opportunistic. Sometimes you make the save, you fail to recover, and the second shot punishes you.
What's the rule of thumb with the goalkeeper? If he gets his hands on it, he feels that he should have gotten it, right?
Well, again, the shooter, when you're trying to beat the goalkeeper, if you go to the near post, shoot high. That's what Wyatt Hermes did. You got to look at Hermes on the bench. Keith Van Aaron felt that he should have had that near post covered and blocked that shot. At any rate, 2-1, San Diego.
Stan Stamenkovic comes back on. Paul Kitson was just out there, and then he came back off. So Stamenkovic is on with Lukic, fellow countryman from Yugoslavia, Buriano, Chinipu, and Savage. Long ball played off the glass. Twice I thought it would go out of play. Finally it does. So it'll be a kick-in coming up for the San Diego Sockers. There's a look at Lukic from Yugoslavia, played in the first division of Belgium. A lot of people think very highly of Lukic. Baltimore thought they had him earlier this season, but something had fallen through with the team that owned his rights, but they're glad to have him on board now.
And again, Kenny Cooper trying to find that combination with Stan Stamenkovic. Mike Stankovic out with a separated shoulder. Cooper feeling that Lukic perhaps could be that player to come in and work with Stamenkovic.
Each team down a key player in their attack. Perez, as we mentioned, for San Diego, and Stankovic for Baltimore. Segota did not play the other night. He had picked up his 30th minute in penalties, but he's out there tonight. Broncos pass for V. Julie V spinning. Played last year for Las Vegas after a long career with San Diego. He wanted to call something there, but there's no call. Buriano right back for Keith Van Aaron. The Sockers leading 2-1 with 48 seconds to go in the first quarter. Chinapu up the field for Lukic, wanting to spin on his man Collier. Knocked away, and the ball goes to the corner. Somebody might have a whistle in the stands because I heard something go off, but players are still out there, so no official sounded a whistle, and that's what you're going to go by. 30 seconds to go as Gorsuch holds on to it. Still in the opening quarter, 2-1. San Diego as it's headed out by Chinabu. The tough break here, I think, for Baltimore is that their work rate has been good, but they may not have a lead or even a tie to show for it.
Well, the thing is, JP, you have to play 60 minutes of good soccer against San Diego, or they'll punish you. The San Diego team is awesome. Make no doubt about it. They fill the lanes, they make the transition from offense to defense, and they're loaded with talent. Not 2 lines, but 3 full lines of talented players. So you can't allow one mistake or San Diego will punish you.
Crow will play it back to Gorsuch. Not only did they beat everybody in the MISL this year, just about as that goes out of play, but a Russian team and a German team. And tell you what is very strange, though, Minnesota, a good club in the Eastern Division, has beaten San Diego this year 3 straight times. So that could be something if those 2 teams were to meet in a final series. So Minnesota has done well against San Diego, but I doubt if too many others have done that. Savage up the field for Stamenkovic with 8 seconds left. Savage open, trying to cross it, blocked. Another shot stopped by Gorsuch to prevent a tie score, and we'll end the first quarter right there with San Diego up by 1 goal. So after trailing early 1-0, the Sockers get 2 unanswered goals, and at the end of the first quarter of play, thanks to goals by Crow and Hermes, the Sockers lead 2-1 as we look at miscellanea. Welcome back to the San Diego Sports Arena. John Paul Della Camera along with Shep Messing. It's a 2-1 lead for the Sockers, but Baltimore took the early lead.
Jim Gorsuch, the outlet pass to Billy Ronson. Gorsuch fans on it. Billy Ronson from England just signed with Baltimore. He puts that ball in for a 1-0 lead.
That goal came at 2:53. Van Aaron, the goalkeeper, assisted. And here's where San Diego catches up.
Well, he has teamwork. Watch Brian Quinn with the ball. He waits. He looks over his right shoulder. He sees Kevin Crow running. Now, without looking again, he dishes that ball off, and Kevin Crow hits it hard and low to the far post. 1-1.
It became a 2-1 game when Juan Hermes scored a goal. This is a San Diego power play where they have been weak this year.
And it's not a picture-perfect power play goal, but Keith Van Aaron makes the save on Segota. Juan Hermes unwinds, cracks the ball high on the near post. Keith Van Aaron still recovering from the Segota shot, and that ball goes inside on the near post.
So here's our statistical look at it. First quarter of play gives San Diego 7 shots and Baltimore 2. The saves show Van Aaron with 4 and 1 for Jimmy Gorsuch. Blocks 1 for Baltimore, nothing the other way, and there's your score. San Diego leading Baltimore, but a moral victory of sorts because Baltimore is still very much alive here. San Diego normally gets those big scores in that first quarter, as we told you earlier. So for Baltimore to stay close is going to be important, and it's the close games that San Diego has had problems with this year. Witness their 7-7 record in 1-goal games and 0-4 in overtime. As the second quarter begins, Coker plays it right back, and a Namdar shot is easily stopped by Van Aaron. Paul Kitson out for his first time, your former teammate.
That's a good point you raised, JP. San Diego do have difficulty in those close games. For some reason, when they get a big lead, they have such technical players with ball control that with a big lead, they play possession and they do well. But they're not a young team, and if they have any one weakness, it's probably overall team speed and age. And maybe in a close ball game in the fourth quarter or overtime, that's where they get punished. So Baltimore indeed hanging in there right now.
Ball is played over our side for Katakalitis. Picked up by Paul Kitson. Kitson aligned with McWilliams and Ronson. Matthew and Whitman now are back, so Tim Whitman has shifted back to a defender's position. Bit of a change there for Ken Cooper. We've got a foul called on San Diego. I'm wondering if Nikolic got beat a little bit in that opening quarter of play, and maybe he wanted to insert a little more speed back there. But we'll wait and see how that one reads, or he may have just wanted to put Kitson up front. Ball is played up the field, broken up. Hit off Adi Coker. Now Ronson for Dave McWilliams. Knocked back for Whitman. Tim Whitman giving it back for Paul Kitson. Kitson with 19 goals this season. That's well below what he has normally scored. A very exciting player to watch, Paul Kitson. Now it's Whitman. 2-1. Baltimore down by 1 goal. Whitman holds back out for Kitson, center point. Woolrich on him. In the corner, McWilliams off the boards, wanted Ronson, who got nailed. Banged away to Woolrich. Wants his own ball. You can see it. He gets by Kitson. Has Whitman to beat. Woolrich shooting it, save, and it's going to go in. And Baltimore did not look good on that one. San Diego takes a 3-1 lead.
Absolute confusion for Baltimore, and this is a great San Diego team we're looking at. Gene Woolrich single-handedly blows by Kitson. Now watch, he closes in on the goal. Tim Whitman comes late. Woolrich cracks it with his right foot. Van Aaron got a hand on it, but it went in. Again, Woolrich. Whitman not coming to close him down. And now watch Woolrich with a left foot. Keith Van Aaron gets a hand on it, but not enough as it goes into the goal in a 3-1 lead.
I knew it wasn't going to look any better in the replay. His 25th goal of the season. He beats Kitson on the boards. Whitman looked like he decided at first to close, and then he pulled back, and then he went in afterwards. I don't know whether he saw somebody breaking the other way or thought that Van Aaron might have had the angle, but it did not happen in a positive way for Baltimore. They trail 3-1. That's not the kind of goals that Baltimore is used to giving up.
No doubt, total confusion. And you're right, Whitman first backed off the ball. Gene Woolrich, being the great player that he is, here's another 2-on-1. The great player that he is went to goal and scored.
If Quinn gets a good ball there, it could have been 4-1. Brian Quinn with it now. Picked up by Stamenkovich. San Diego had trailed 1-0. Shot is scooped up easily by Keith Van Aaron. Van Aaron looking now and rolling it for Savage, for Lukic. Baltimore having won only 3 out of their last 10. It's the worst slump that I can recall them being in at least the last 4 years, as Juleeby brings it over midfield. Looking for Segota, shooting it, blocked on the short side. Van Aaron got a piece. There's a whistle for a dangerous play, and Van Aaron upset at Brian Quinn. And you know what they're saying, being the former goalkeeper that you are. Obviously, Van Aaron thought that he got kicked a little late.
Well, here's the play. Segota's going to crack it to the near post. Keith Van Aaron makes a save, bobbles the ball. Now, as he comes in, there's the reason for the confrontation. Brian Quinn all over the place. If it's moving, kick at it. That's a forward's credo. A goalkeeper says, this area is mine.
Whitman shooting it, stopped easily by Jim Gorsuch, and he's ready to throw long. It's 2-on-1. Segota has V wide open. It's 3-on-1 now, and Segota's pass is blocked. But Baltimore really collapsing back there on defense, and I don't mean collapsing in terms of settling back. They're just forgetting what they're doing. V going long for Crow. San Diego pretty much doing what they want. They're looking for that outlet pass, and they're finding Baltimore with no one back there.
Well, JP, that's a function of the pressure we talked about earlier. Baltimore feels the pressure to go forward and score goals. But they're making some poor passing decisions, and that's setting San Diego off on the counterattack.
Chinipo looking. Baltimore needing a goal just to get some momentum back and to slow San Diego down. Off the boards in front, and it just trickled by Gorsuch. Ladisor with it. A 3-1 San Diego lead. They've had a couple of other chances. Woolrich for Ladisor. Back for Collier. Now for Fernando Clavillo, one of the faster and better defenders in the MISL. Stolen away, Franz Matthew. Brings it right back for Baltimore. Now has to put the brakes on. All the way back it comes to McWilliams.
Franz Matthew, one of the best pure defenders in the league. He makes that tackle like an assassin. He strips the ball, now dishes it back, and Baltimore's off and running.
Matthew, who once played for the Chicago Sting, both indoors and out, has his pass broken up by Clavijo. Clavillo tied with Daryl Duran this year for shorthanded goals with 4. He's got great speed. You'll see him a lot on overlapping runs, and if San Diego can get him the ball, he can be dangerous. Collier now for Woolrich. San Diego slowing it down a little bit. There's Whitman back up front now as Matthew is playing back deep. But Whitman actually still out there as a defender because Kitson and Ronson are the other players in there up front.
Now look at San Diego. This is what they do so well, JP. They dictate the style and pace of the game. They don't like what's happening up front, so they play it back. Now they draw Baltimore out. Now they have what they want to go forward.
Collier up for Ladouceur. A lot of passes, but now they're getting somewhere. Ladouceur against Matthew in the corner. Broken up. Billy Ronson coming back. Billy's goal got Baltimore off on the right track. But since then, it's been San Diego in the Sockers lead 3-1, 9.5 to go before the end of the first half. Crow up for Woolrich. Tackled away by Matthew. You must have heard what you said before. Adi Coker. Giving it for Namdar, ready to make his pivot, but he was blocked. Buriano and Ronson helped to clear. Katakalitis forced back. Now it is Kevin Crow, who led the MISL in blocked shots a year ago for Coker. Now it's Brian Quinn. Waiting. Sending it back for Katakalitis. It's really slowed down now. Namdar. This is what San Diego wants. They're the ones that are dictating, as Shep Messi was saying, and they're going to make Baltimore chase it. Crow's pass headed away by Matthew for McWilliams. And now Baltimore finally gets possession. Matthew for Ernie Buriano. Back for Matthew. Baltimore, Shep, seems to be lacking movement offensively. It's not a typical Baltimore effort where players are running all over the place and getting somewhere. There's no movement.
Well, they look confused, JP. There's no doubt. You have to attribute some of that to the talent of San Diego. But what Baltimore must do now is settle down, string together some passes, control the ball, then they can go forward and get a shot on goal.
Chinipo in the corner. Gives it off. Ronson, a good shot. Score off the back of Jim Gorsuch. And they'll take it any way they can get it. They're back in the game.
That's exactly what they need. Put together 2 or 3 passes, then go forward. They did it in the midfield. Now watch Billy Ronson. He's going to hit this ball off Gorsuch, off the back, off Gorsuch's back, and in the net. But all Baltimore cares is where the ball ends up.
That one beats Gorsuch on the short side, so the Blast are back in it. We're coming right back with San Diego leading over Baltimore 3-2. Here's a look at Billy Ronson, and Ken Cooper getting the most out of Billy Ronson here. Billy came into the game without scoring in a couple of games, limited experience, but he came in and he's really picked up the Blast because he's gotten both of their goals. It's 3-2. They're right back in it. Clavillo for Hermes, trying to get by Savage. Hermes now plays it all the way back to Jim Gorsuch. In front of the Sockers bench, it is Clavillo. It's a 3-2 San Diego lead over Baltimore. Clavillo tries to go outside. He's knocked out. Here comes a late card. They're going to call that 2 minutes. Lukic has been here long enough to know that that's a dive. You see him signaling?
I think that's a good call. Lukic had no chance for the ball. He turned, put his shoulder down. He looked so ineffective trying to make the tackle. I think that's what called the 2 minutes. But for me, that's a 2-minute penalty. No opportunity to get the ball, a pure foul.
Well, Lukic doesn't agree. He goes to the box. 3-2 San Diego, and they have a power play when we come back. Come back. There's an official's timeout on the field. It's 3-2 in favor of San Diego. One more exciting game coming up next week on ESPN. Sunday, March 30th, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time. The Dallas Sidekicks featuring Tattoo, the offensive player of the week, going up at Cleveland against the Forest, led by Craig Allen having a super year. He is among the leading scorers in the Major Indoor Soccer League. Dallas and Cleveland right here on ESPN. That should be a great game, and that might be a game, who knows, could be for first place the way things are going.
Well, that's super game. Dallas, nobody expected Dallas to have the kind of year that they're having. Cleveland, everybody knew they're strong. That's a wonderful game next weekend. And we have a ball game right now as San Diego goes to the power play.
Julie V holding it. San Diego 1 for 1 in the power play department so far. Up for Kitson. Paul Kitson, when he's on, one of the better shorthanded specialists in the MISL. Got his pass it to Chinipo, who fired after the whistle, but we've got a foul there called on San Diego. Kitson not only is a threat to eat some time, but he has scored a lot of shorthanded goals in his day when he played for both the Chicago Horizons and the New York Arrows. Ball will be put into play by Chinipo. 1:46 to go on the man advantage. San Diego scored earlier on a power play on a Juan Hermes goal. Chinipo off the boards for Kitson. That one went wild off the boards, and it's picked up by Woolrich. For V, knocked back the other way, and it's Bronco Segota, the number 3 scorer in the MISL. For Woolrich. Right back out for Segota. Bronco going the other way. Hermes looking for Coker. Nice agility as Woolrich will get it. Didn't set anything up, but a nice effort from Coker. Adi slides it. Hermes puts it upstairs. Great setup, though. Adi Coker to Juan Hermes. He just got underneath it a bit too much, and we see that there's a minute 19 now left on the power play for San Diego.
And this time San Diego flip-flopping Juan Hermes. Last time he scored the goal from the left side. He is a left-footed player. This time they've put him on the right side. They're trying to dish the ball down low to him. But Baltimore in this instant defending well.
Van Aaron will put it in play. He's got Bruce Savage with him. We mentioned before, Savage, one of the very best man-to-man markers in the league. And a very clean player. Went 78 games before he even picked up a minor penalty. He averages 1 penalty a year, and it's not because he's not an aggressive player. He's just not a dirty player. Plays hard. Woolrich the other way. A 3-2 San Diego lead. Hermes is open. Left-footed shot. Save Van Aaron. Julie V on the rebound. Back for Hermes. Coker. Save again. Coker may get this. Nope. Knocked away by Savage to Buriano, but Van Aaron at his sharpest right there.
Keith Van Aaron coming up big at the near post off for Hermes, then coming up against Adi Coker. Now San Diego back into the attack on the power play. The 2 big saves.
45 seconds to go on the man advantage. Sockers lead 3-2. 6:24 to go in the first half. Hermes for Coker. Looking the other way. They had V wide open on the right, but didn't see him. Segota to Woolrich. Picked up by Buriano. The other way, Hermes for Coker. Score! Nice bit of passing, and the Sockers take a 4-2 lead.
And that's a great goal. Watch San Diego celebrate. Adi Coker made medical history by being on the field. Watch this string of passes. First down into the corner to Hermes, to Coker. Coker touching it with the outside of his right foot, and a goal. And a great celebration of passing and teamwork. There's the one-touch passing outside of the right foot to Adi Coker, and he tucks that ball away. But first-time passing gets the goal for San Diego.
Well, San Diego must not be looking at the statistics, because the stats say that they're not good in the power play, but they're 2 for 2, and you can win games with your power play and especially your penalty-killing units.
And we talked to Ron Newman before the game. He as well counts this as a serious game for reasons like that. Work on the power play, work on a man down. These are crucial situations that are going to dictate who's going to win in the playoffs.
And you never know. This could be a preview of the MISL championship. It was last year. Right now things are not looking as good for Baltimore. They're in 4th place, but they're not far out of 1st. Billy Ronson. Broken up. McWilliams may get it. He's broken up by Clavillo. Timmy Whitman there. Everybody going all out. It's knocked into the crowd. It'll be put back into play, and Baltimore will have a free kick. Ron Newman will have home field advantage because his team has won the West, but that East is a real dogfight. And the best example we can give, I know it's a repeat, but Baltimore in 1st place earlier in the week. They're now in 4th, and they only played once. Ronson looking for 3, blocked. Kevin Crowe will pick it up. Looking, Ronson's going to hustle and win the ball. Billy Ronson looking good. Matthew with Whitman defensively. Plays it up for Kitson, knocked away. Whitman trying to settle. His team now down by 2, stolen away. Brian Quinn. Ronson, nice work rate to come back. Julie V now will pick it up. 4-2. Sockers out in front by a couple. The power play has been the difference, at least on the scoreboard, for San Diego. 5:08 now left in the first half. Brian Quinn for V, wanting to turn on Matthew. Lays it up. Ladouceur walked it and missed. No one picked up Ladouceur. No tracking.
This is wild. Opportunities like that for San Diego. There's no way Baltimore can survive giving up opportunities like that in the box.
Franz Matthew. How do you think that looked from Van Aaron's angle? He's the only one that saw Ladouceur coming straight on. McWilliams looking for Whitman. Gorsuch way out. Would have gotten beat had Crowe not won the ball. And Crowe very calm. A lot of poise. Right back to Gorsuch. He goes up the middle. Lukic will block it, but loses to V. Quinn was headed for the box. V now brings it up for Brian Quinn. Knocked away by Matthew. Matthews stripped San Diego of the ball at least 3 times so far in the opening half with some good plays. Ernie Buriano up the far side. Baltimore needing a couple to tie for Lukic. Blocked by Willrich. Stamenkovic will get it. We have not seen Stamenkovic in a little bit. Segota bringing it back. San Diego, everybody running now. Bronco cuts to the left. Looked like he wanted to cut and then take his shot, but he's broken up.
And I'll tell you, Stan Stamenkovic, JP, does look like he's struggling. He's coming off that injury. He's really not getting into the thick of the attack.
Chinapu holding it. He just looks very sluggish. Stamenkovic will get it. He's very dangerous from here. He'll take the shot, but it's right at Jimmy Gorsuch. 3:32 to go. First half, and San Diego leads 4-2. Goals by Coker, Willrich, Hermes, and Crow for San Diego. Ronson has both Baltimore scores.
And again, JP, the San Diego team so poised. Every time they get the ball in the midfield, if they don't like what they see, they play it back. Draw out the defense and then go forward. And they make the killer pass. The pass that fills the lane and creates opportunities.
Clavillo up the side, broken up, and Lukic plays it back to the feet of Keith Van Aaron. Number 1 in the MISL in goalkeeping coming into the game. Gorsuch ranks number 2. They are not all that far apart. 3.49 for Van Aaron is his goals against average. Gorsuch 3.78. If the game were to end here, though, one would go up, the other down, just like that Baltimore player went down. Foul is going to be called on San Diego. Give them 4. Baltimore yet to foul, and Savage says, why not 2? Put in play quickly. Stamenkovic to Kitson. Right back for Tim Whitman. A 4-2 San Diego lead with 2:35 to go here in the opening half of play from San Diego. Stamenkovic. Against him is Crow. Stan waits, sees what he can create. Now tries to put it through, and it's deflected into the crowd. 4-2, San Diego leading as we look at a big crowd here at the San Diego Sports Arena. We're coming right back. There's your score of the Sockers lead over Baltimore, 4-2. I'm John Paul Della Camera, along with Shep Messing. Glad you could be on board watching the MISL on ESPN here today. Billy Ronson with it. He's got a couple of goals already. But Baltimore is too short of tying. McWilliams leaving it. Savage trying to run it past Gary Collier. Collier, good effort, wins it. And up the field come the Sockers. Tim Bartrow, his first chip. Too far in front of him, but it may go anyway to Rotolo. Off, kicks in and in. And San Diego, it's a fluke goal, but they worked hard, Shep. The effort was there, and they made themselves earn it.
Tim Bartrow celebrating this one. He's going to get credit. It went in off him, but all kinds of trouble, and this is the nature of indoor soccer. Bing, bang. Watch the kick save off the post, off the boards. Now this ball bounces off Billy Ronson, then Tim Bartrow and into the net. Again, we're going to see this ball come down. The shot end up off the dasher board. Kitson trailing. Here's the shot off the near dasher board. Van Aaron dives out. It actually deflects off Kitson, then Ronson, then Bartrow, and into the net.
It's an indoor goal, and take nothing away from Tim Bartrow, but when he was coming up the field, you could see it went just a little bit too far in front of him, and when it looked like they were going to lose it, they got it back. But that's the difference. When you're working hard, those breaks will come.
Well, you create your own breaks. You're absolutely right, JP, and that's what Baltimore has to do. Have to get down into the attacking third and take some shots. 6 shots, scores a goal. Get down there and pull the trigger. Fire some shots.
Gorsuch may hit the scoreboard with this one. No. Instead, he may hit Quinn. Brian Quinn looking for Coker, who got behind everybody, and it went wide off a deflection off Chinapu. Oh, Baltimore's very lax here. That last goal coming at 13:02, and you're at the bad goal stage, giving one up near the end of the quarter. Lukic trying to play it through. Broken up. Chacha Namdar with it. Looking for Brian Quinn. Support run. Namdar was open. What a burst of speed that was. Lukic for Stamenkovic, broken up. San Diego just simply outrunning Baltimore right now. Stamenkovic takes a bump, gives it to Chinapu. Off the boards for Lukic, trying to head it. Broken up. We've got a whistle and a foul called on Baltimore. 55 seconds to go. And I think Kenny Cooper is very glad of that. He's going to want to talk to the troops at the end of this quarter, because you can see them coming back. San Diego gets that quick burst, and Baltimore can't follow them.
They're a champion. San Diego on top of their game. Baltimore struggling. You can't deny the talent that Baltimore potentially has on the field. They're just not doing it. San Diego dictating the pace of the game. They're winning the ball. They're going forward and getting goals.
San Diego looking for it, but Stavenkovic will get it. Leads for Whitman. Timmy almost cut down from behind. Crow knocked it away. Gorsuch holds on to it a little bit. 28 seconds to go before the half. 5-2. Sockers are leading it here. Crow going long for Quinn. Heading it down. Matthew knocks it away. Tim Whitman after it. Running hard up the left side. Julie V coming back with him stride for stride. 12 seconds to go before halftime. Sockers lead 5-2. Matthew going into the corner for Ronson. Billy Ronson looking for someone free. He's double teamed. He spins free. Gets it right back, but it's blocked off his own player, Timmy Whitman. But a good effort by Billy Ronson as we look at Jim Gorsuch. His team has a comfortable, for now, 3-goal lead here at the end of 2 quarters. So at the end of the first half of play, San Diego leads Baltimore, and they look very good. 5-2 is your score. San Diego on top. Welcome back to San Diego, where the Sockers lead over Baltimore. 5-2 is the score. In this particular game, San Diego has really started to come on and take control of things as we are here at halftime, and both coaches will talk things over. Time right now, though, Shep, to honor our MISL offensive and defensive players of the week. There's a familiar face, Tattoo. He's won it before.
Well, there's no doubt. Tattoo, 3 goals and 4 assists in 2 games. He's a superstar in this league and a deserving player, offensive player of the week.
And he's coming up on our next televised game here on ESPN next week against Cleveland. On the defensive side, Bob Lenarduzzi, a member of Canada's World Cup team, tied a league record with 10 blocks in a game against Minnesota. And you, as a former goalkeeper, can appreciate somebody that can block 10 shots in front of you.
Well, again, if you block 6 shots in a game, you save a goal. If you block 10, almost a goal and a half. So Bob Lenarduzzi, defensive player of the week.
Congratulations to Tattoo and Bob Lenarduzzi. We still have another half of indoor soccer to come your way. San Diego leads at halftime over Baltimore, 5-2. We'll be back. To San Diego, John Paul Dellacamera along with Shep Messing. It's 5-2 San Diego. And a lot of it is because of the last couple of goals that San Diego scored in that second quarter. One of them came on a power play, and it's Adi Kokers.
And here's picture textbook soccer. The pass down to the corner to Wyatt Hermes. One touch. He passed that ball first time to Adi Coker. What that does, it enables Coker to get a step on the defender. Coker taps it into the goal.
And here's where some extra effort and good hard running pays off. Tim Bartrow only has 2 goals. He's just joined the club. He'll get another here.
Well, he actually loses the ball to Whitman. It deflects. Now the shot. The shot off the dashboard. It hits Kitson. It hits Ronson. And Bartrow right there to pick up the rebound. An opportunistic goal, but you make your own chances. A good hustling play by Tim Bartrow.
So San Diego gets that goal with time running out, too, in that quarter. So that's a goal that Kenny Cooper, I'm sure, was bothered by at halftime. And one of the things that he spoke about to his troops in the dressing room. Our stats are not good for Baltimore. And I think shots on goal can be misleading, Shep. In this case, they're not. 5 shots, you've said before, every 6 shots, you're going to average maybe 1 goal. They don't even have the 6.
Well, that's the most important stat, the most important graphic that a coach takes to the locker room. Kenny Cooper is holding up a sheet of paper and yelling at his Baltimore team, saying you took 5 shots. How are you going to score goals? He's going to urge them to get that ball, string some passes together in the midfield, get down into the attacking third, and take some shots.
Keith Van Aaron, the busier of the 2 keepers, he made 8 saves compared to 3 for Jim Gorsuch as we look at Ron Newman, and a brilliant career record in the Major Indoor Soccer League for Ron Newman. Whether it's outdoors or indoors, he has won. Speaking of indoors, we're going to be going indoors for some hockey coverage a bit later on as ESPN's live NHL hockey coverage continues tonight when the New York Rangers meet the Chicago Blackhawks. Chicago right now on top of the Norris Division led by Dennis Savard. The Rangers, on the other hand, are still fighting for a playoff spot in the Patrick Division with the Pittsburgh Penguins. ESPN continues to bring you the best live NHL hockey action from around the league. The Rangers and the Blackhawks tonight here on your Total Sports Network. Want to point out, too, Shep, that congratulations are in order for Timo Liakowski and Jay Hoffman of the Cleveland Force as we look at some of the fans in attendance here in San Diego. Timo and Jay recently signed to new 3-year contracts by the owners of that franchise, Bart Wallstein and his family. A lot of confidence right in the stretch drive to give those two coaches 3 more years.
Well, it's funny because I think it's a well-deserved contract for both those fellows. Cleveland notoriously has gotten off to quick starts and then died at the end. Maybe they're doing it the right way now because they're coming on strong. It's playoff fever, and Cleveland with a good shot to end up in first.
And speaking of Cleveland as well, they're going to be doing the upcoming Senior Bowl sponsored by Budweiser, and they've already sold upwards of 6,000 seats for that game coming up June 1. Here's a look at our MISL leaders. A different face. Eric Rasmussen of Wichita on top, tied with Steve Jungle, and for once we have somebody with a legitimate chance, I think, of winning a scoring title other than Steve Jungle, although he may still win it. But look how close it is.
Well, and we're looking at 2 players in the top 6 that are on the field right now, Segota and Stamenkovic.
Let's take a look at the defensive side now and take a look at the goalkeepers in the Major Indoor Soccer League. Look at how low some of these averages are, and we mentioned before we've got the top 2 playing right here tonight.
And actually 3 out of the top 4 on San Diego and Baltimore, both Gorsic and Zoltan Toth for San Diego and Keith Van Aaron. I don't know, I look at those stats, 3.49. I used to give that up in 1/2. I don't know how they're so low.
Look at poor David Bursich, 3.86 and 1 game below 500. He has had an outstanding year. Chris Sobieski, 22 wins for the Dallas Sidekicks. So some goalkeepers have really started to show this year, and the averages are a little bit lower, but the records are not showing for it because of that tight Eastern Division as we start the second half of play. And Baltimore has to dictate to try and get themselves right back in it. San Diego's not going to give it away. Savage plays it out for Lukic. Back for Chinapoo. Blast being forced back now by San Diego. Back for Keith Van Aaron. And now it's played back to Jim Gorsic by Kevin Crowe. Right up the middle for Segota. Towards Woolrich. Ronson got a piece, and now Gary Collier is there. Back for Woolrich. Woolrich has 1 goal already, his 25th goal of the season. It was unassisted. Baltimore getting it back. They trail 5-2. Chinapoo cracks it with a hard left foot. Crazy bounce. It comes back out to Julie V. Baltimore needs to score first. You don't want to give San Diego any more of a cushion than they presently have, but Baltimore still can't afford to gamble too much, Shep, and then get caught back defensively.
No, it's almost before they score the goal. They have to start playing well. If they play well, put some passes together, get down into that attacking third, the goals are going to come, but they're not playing well. They have to start controlling the ball, making some penetrating passes, get back into the ball game.
Stamenkovic was looking for Lukic, and we've got a handball called. We talked a lot about Stan Stamenkovic. If he is totally healthy, he's a spark plug. He just doesn't look like he's there today, and it's not because San Diego's marking him tightly. It just doesn't seem to be that Stan, maybe it's game fit that he's missed because he's been out for the last week. Ball is headed back the other way to Keith Van Aaron.
Well, it's a lot has to do with the body type, JP. I mean, there's no doubt everybody jokes about his physique. He carries a lot of weight. You watch Chinapoo on the attack.
If that was a handball, that would have been a penalty shot, but it was not called. It was not a handball. Stamenkovic's shot is blocked.
Back to Stamenkovic. He does carry a lot of weight on that frame, and it makes it more difficult to get back when he comes back after an injury.
Segota, a foul is going to be called before that ball was shot, and it is on San Diego. Keith Van Aaron giving his opinion to Toros Cabrichin. I think what he's arguing about is that Segota shot it after the whistle.
Well, Keith looking for a 2-minute penalty. In fact, Branko Segota did take the shot after the whistle, but you have to give the shooter the benefit of the doubt. They're taught, unless they hear it, go for the goal. But a goalkeeper hates a ball to be put in after the play has stopped.
Especially if it hits off both posts and makes that big noise. Whitman will give it up for Lukic. That was not a typical Segota blast. Katakalitis, and we've got a foul the other way. Fouls show 2 for Baltimore and 1 for San Diego as Clevio will bring it up the field. Very slow start to the second half. Going long for Coker. San Diego maybe trying to lull Baltimore into a bit of a sleep here and then strike quickly. But here's Baltimore coming back with Buriano over the midfield line, looking for McWilliams, knocking it back the other way. Coker. Now we've got another foul called on Baltimore. That's 3, so quickly the blast halfway to foul trouble.
Well, Kenny Cooper trying to shake things up. He's got Michael Lashev in for his first shift of the game. He knows that he's got to try and dictate a different pace during this game, and he's going to try any combination that he can.
Gorsuch will throw it long for Julie V. Off those boards, V will pick it up. For Brian Quinn, Sockers leading it 5-2. Played up for Segota. Bronco bumped by Savage, still maintains possession. The give is to Julie V. Marked by Tim Whitman. To the boards, he'll lose it. Whitman bangs it off Julie V, and we've got a whistle, and a foul is going to be called on Julie V. And Van Aaron and V exchanging some words.
Well, Julie V, a character, was a handball on Julie V. Julie trying to cut down the quick outlet by Keith Van Aaron. Heated tempers a little bit. Frustration from Baltimore. Supreme confidence by San Diego.
Baltimore will put the ball in play. You know, Baltimore's done better against San Diego during the regular season. It's in the playoffs they've struggled. Baltimore's 6-3 overall regular season against San Diego. 10-9 though for the Sockers when you count the playoffs. This year, each team has won one game. Timmy Whitman will put it in play. Sends it back to Keith Van Aaron. We may see Keith come out a little bit more. Trying to help the offense out a bit. Van Aaron going long, but that one went over 3 lines. Julie V puts it in play. A quick restart for Quinn. Didn't get enough on the turn. That would have been a pretty difficult shot to make. Van Aaron throwing it upfield for McWilliams. Lashoff was breaking on the left, but he was unseen. McWilliams in front of the Blast bench, right back the other way, and Buriano is there.
If you've never seen a game, for the new viewers, watch how hard San Diego works on defense. They're known to be an explosive team, a team that scores goals, but they dig in there and work on defense. That's a good lesson for any soccer player. For a new fan watching the game, you got to win the ball on defense.
McWilliams knocks it back. A lot of people remember San Diego in the high-powered offense. They've also given up the least amount of goals defensively. A Lashoff shot tipped wide. Just wide. It's picked up by Ladouceur. McWilliams and Matthew try to pressure. Too much. They're going to call a foul on Baltimore, and that's 4 already with 10:52 to go. And San Diego's power play, while it has not been potent this year, is potent today, and you don't want to give them another crack at it. They're 2 for 2 already. Hermes. He has 1 goal up to his own red line. Now Baltimore looked like they were going to come up with high pressure, and now they retreat. Gorsuch will throw it long for Brian Quinn. Picked up by Tim Whitman. A 5-2 San Diego lead. Ladouceur cut off there by Matthew, a back heel. Buriano will hustle for. Lashoff back the other way, and now it's Tim Whitman. To Buriano at midfield. Ernie Buriano looking long for Stamenkovic. Stan Stamenkovic looking right back out, center point. Tim Whitman may crank, brings it in a few more strides and gives it off for Matthew. Lost it to Ruotolo. And now Whitman is right back for Baltimore. For Stamenkovic. Stan Stamenkovic still with it. Looks for some help. To his left. Double team. Buriano has to win that ball, and he does for Matthew. Back for Buriano, who makes a good run into open space, using the boards, but it's broken up. Ladouceur is there. No one picking that up for Baltimore. Everybody running back for San Diego, but they're running to the bench to change on the fly. Matthew bumping with Tim Bartrow. Now Matthew plays it all the way back to Keith Van Aaron. Up the left side it comes. Mike Lashoff. Of Russian descent. Russian background. Originally when he came here, his name became Lashev, and he changed it back last year. Stamenkovic has it kicked away by Kevin Crow. Bruce Savage on it and clearing it all the way back to the feet of Keith Van Aaron. Being pressured. Cleared up the field. Nobody close enough to it, and San Diego will get it back. Gorsuch with it. 8:52 to go. Third quarter, and it's a 5-2 lead here for San Diego, and there's not much happening out there.
Well, JP, we often talk about the opposing teams when they play San Diego because it's so difficult to come in and beat San Diego, but you got to give credit to this ball club. San Diego is an awesome team. Makes it very difficult for a team to come in and match up all 3 lines against them.
Segota broken up by Savage. Bruce Savage on the gallop, looking for Ronson in open space. Look at how far Gorsuch is, but he wins that ball for Segota. Nice cut. Another good move. Bronco in the attack zone was blocked by Chinipu, but he still fights for that ball. And that tells you one of the reasons why he's such a great scorer. He never quit on that ball.
Well, Branko Segoda's so physically strong that he's tough to knock off the ball. He's got balance, he's got agility, he's a powerful young man. Canada's World Cup hope, Branko Segoda.
And just 24 years old, rots it off the boards, but it never quite made it up as Gorsuch is there, looking to throw long for Adi Coker, and that ball just took off on him. Right idea, but it just took off as soon as it hit that red line.
Too much power on that throw by Gorsuch. The right idea, Adi Coker streaking down the right. Gorsuch, big, powerful athlete, got too much firepower on that ball.
Lukic over the line for McWilliams. Dave McWilliams, a star for many years in the MISL for Lukic. Looking for Buriano, doesn't handle it. Lukic gets it back. Matthew cracks it, but miskicks it. Whitman looking to get it back. Broken up by San Diego, and Adi Coker, who has one goal, plays it back to Gorsuch. 7:15 to go, third quarter. San Diego leading it by the score of 5-2.
Again, JP, Baltimore having so much difficulty not winning the ball defensively, not getting into the midfield. Once they get past into that attacking third, they look completely at odds. Nothing clicking, nobody making penetrating runs.
Katakalitis has it stripped away. Matthew, nice ball on the lead. Stamankovic with a great chance. Left-footed shot is saved. Jim Gorsuch. That's the only real good chance either side has had in the third quarter. And here come the Sockers on the counterattack. They've got numbers 4-on-3. Clavio bumped, but V will get it. The strength of Julie V for Segoda in front. Score! And after Baltimore missed a goal that looked easier, San Diego comes right back. Wilrich will get the goal. Momentum again for San Diego. We're coming right back to San Diego, where the Sockers now lead by 4. And Shep, after Baltimore had a great chance to score with the man they wanted, Stamankovic, San Diego comes right back up the field.
Julie V fought off 2 defenders, got it to Branko Segoda. Segoda to Wilrich. Wilrich in the back of the net. Great team effort by an awesome team, San Diego. Julie V down to Branko Segoda. Watch Segoda come out. Now tunnel the Baltimore defender, nutmeg him, get that ball far post to Gene Wilrich. Wilrich cracks it in.
That is the second goal of the game by Gene Wilrich. We're coming right back to bring you the rest of the third quarter, but right now San Diego gets a very big goal from Wilrich. They lead 6-2. We're back at the San Diego Sports Arena. John Paul Della Camera along with Shep Messing. San Diego with the lead as Wilrich goes down and draws. No, they let play go on.
Unintentional. Looks like Baltimore now are going to pick up defensively, high pressure. They really have to get back in the game, and to do that, they have to gamble.
Tim Whitman is broken up. Baltimore could be within a couple of goals at 5-3, but Stamankovic was stopped by Gorsuch, and then Baltimore got caught in the numbers game. San Diego did have a 4-on-3 when they scored it. Savage draws a foul there. That's a couple on San Diego, 4 on the blast. McWilliams looking. Blocked. Collision on the boards. McWilliams may get tagged. They're going to call it the other way for obstruction. That's 4 now on San Diego. 4 apiece. Whitman right back. Savage in a 6-2 San Diego game. Lashoff picked off by the Sockers. Broken up again. But San Diego will get control on the boards. Now Katakalitis loses to Lashoff. Around the boards and right back to Jim Gorsuch it goes. 6-2. Sockers are leading. 5.5 left in the third quarter. Upfield, Wilrich, upended, that's 2. And Gene Wilrich and the San Diego Sockers, as if they needed Shep, will have another power play opportunity. San Diego leading Baltimore 6-2, back with the San Diego power play when we return. A look at Billy Ronson in the penalty box as the power play begins for San Diego. Jim Gorsuch with the ball and the lead, 6-2. And San Diego, a team with a killer instinct, looking for another one. Hermes to Segoda. Chinipu on him. Bronco trying to hold off Richard Chinipu. 2 strong players. Segoda winning that matchup. Up for Coker. Sent over to Brian Quinn on the right side. Brian Quinn against Buriano. For Julie V. V setting it the opposite way. Hermes to Segoda. He may crank from there. Now he holds it instead. Plays it over to Julie V. Back right point. Quinn wide open. Hermes save. Rebound. Goal. was wide open. 7-2 San Diego.
San Diego soccer is textbook soccer. Wyatt Hermes was taking his position as he did on all the power plays down at the far post. Watch this ball come. Brian Quinn to Hermes, and there's Eddie Coker off by an error. Eddie Coker absolutely ecstatic, pointing number one to the crowd. He certainly looks like he's right. San Diego Sockers, as of now, are showing they're tough to beat. Eddie Coker celebrating.
What a day it has been for the Baltimore Blast when you consider this. They had killed off 15 straight power plays, Shep, and San Diego has taken them apart 3 for 3.
And San Diego not having a terrific record on the power play. Today, everything going their way. This San Diego Ball Club, just an awesome club with so much talent, so much finesse. We don't often give Ron Newman enough credit. It's tough when you're the guy on top. Going for
5.
Championship number 5, it's very difficult to stay on top. But credit this team and their effort to Coach Ron Newman.
Jim Gorsuch will throw it long for Segota. Look at this quick chip. He was looking ahead for V. Banged out of there by Keith Van Aaron. Segota heads it back down. Billy Ronson. Broken up by Segota. Ronson stays with it for Franz Matthew. And now back for Lukic it comes. Giveaway right there. Julie V with Segota. Back for Bronco. Off the post as he was hit from behind. Keith Van Aaron upset to say the least. It's tough enough to play goal without having to go back on those. Ronson has a tackle away by Clavillo. Segota. Now it's Brian Quinn. Ruotolo wide open on the left. Played off the boards, too far off the mark. Lukic giving it up there for Matthew.
Again, JP, the beauty of indoor soccer, the MISL, no matter how horrendous it looks for Baltimore right now, you got to take it one goal at a time. You get back in the game, not by looking at the scoreboard, not by looking at a 7-2 score in the third quarter, but just playing good soccer. Stick in a goal and stick in another one before you know it, you're back in the ball game.
Yeah, well, leads like this have been lost before. A precedent has been set, but Baltimore cannot play it this way and even expect to come back into it. So they obviously have to pick things up. There's enough time, but right now it's all San Diego. Matthew turning it back inside. His club down by 5. Blocked by Wilrich. And right back to Jim Gorsuch it goes. How tough it must be, though, for Ron Newman, Shep. They've won 4 straight. How do you keep motivating? We look at other dynasties. You know, the Islanders won, what, 3 straight? And then players get a little bit older, and everybody's out for the champion. So how do you keep it going?
Well, it's difficult. There's no doubt. I played on a couple of championship teams. We see a fast break.
I thought it was safe to ask your opinion.
Well, in the span of 2 seconds, we saw San Diego go from goal mouth to goal mouth. To answer your question, it's toughest to win the first championship. After you win the first and a second and a third,
it's not going to happen.
Well, we stop and watch Baltimore on the opportunity. The tough thing is you don't want to lose. San Diego right now is afraid to lose. They like the feeling of winning, and they put the pressure on themselves.
Gorsuch going long for Julie V. Bringing it right back up the field, looking for Ladouceur. Blocked, he may get another crack, but Briano cuts it off. Even with a 5-goal lead, Gorsuch makes a save, and he's looking long. Looking for the home run toss. Stamenkovic against Ladouceur. In the attack zone, a soft pass, Lashoff blocked. Gorsuch missed the rest of it, but it was knocked away by Kevin Crowe.
And actually, if Baltimore had that third player following the play, Lashoff got off a good shot. The rebound was hanging right in front. Nobody there to tuck it away.
Crowe moves it up the field for Ruotolo, but it's broken up, and Baltimore will get it back. 1:05 to go in the third quarter, which started off very slow, but now San Diego has scored a couple. Ronson goes right back to Van Aaron. Ahead on the far side for Savage. Runs it around Ruotolo. Bruce Savage knocked down. That's 2. 2-minute penalty on Ruotolo. So Baltimore will finally get a chance in the power play. They rank number 7 in the league, but they are 0 for their last 10 chances. Let's take a look at some games coming up this week in the MISL. Tuesday, Minnesota at Pittsburgh, a big Eastern Division game coming up. Chicago is playing at Kansas City, and Tacoma is at Los Angeles. That is all on Tuesday. Wednesday, Tacoma plays at San Diego. Thursday, Cleveland at Baltimore. That's a big game in the East. Dallas at Chicago, St. Louis at Los Angeles. On Friday, Kansas City is at Wichita, Saturday, Minnesota at Baltimore, Dallas at Cleveland, Pittsburgh at Chicago, all key Eastern Division games, LA at Kansas City, St. Louis at San Diego. Ball played into the box, and it's broken up. We remind you, if you live in a major indoor soccer league city, go on out and see your local team, especially now during the stretch drive. Stamenkovic trying to play it for Whitman. Very few people would have even attempted that pass, and Stamenkovic almost put it there.
And here's a place where Baltimore can get a second life in the ball game. There are 38 seconds left to go in the quarter on the power play. If they could stick in a goal before they go into the fourth quarter, it gives them a little second life, a little bit of momentum.
Stan Stamenkovic right in front. Whitman tried to get it, but it was broken up by Kevin Crowe, who stubbed his toe in the process. Stamenkovic upset. I want to see. Maybe they're going to call it a goal kick. I thought Crowe got a piece of that ball.
Well, the official pointing in the way, in the direction of San Diego, calling that ball out on Baltimore. Stan Stamenkovic arguing. We get a look in the penalty box at the San Diego player. Now it is San Diego's ball.
It's Rafael Ruotolo. He is just 19 years old, and like Hermes, people don't hear about these guys that much around the league, and then all of a sudden they're there in the lineup and they're scoring goals. Clavillo leaves it now for Jimmy Gorsuch. Broken up. That was dangerous. Stamenkovic got a piece. Now Gorsuch just punts it out of there. Chinapoo trying to head it back upfield. He knows that Gorsuch was not quite in position. Whitman spinning with Quinn. Now for Chinapoo. Baltimore with 20 seconds to go in the third quarter and down by 5. Stamenkovic gives it to Chinapoo, and he puts it way upstairs. That's pretty much summing up Baltimore's day here in San Diego. A lot of time was left, 16 seconds, and Chinapoo with a good shot. He just underneath it and right upstairs.
That's a lack of concentration, JP. Chinapoo got that ball dished off by Stamenkovic. Really had all the time in the world to get his body over the ball and shoot on goal. Instead, he leaned back, perhaps taking his eye off it. We get a look at a frustrated Kenny Cooper on the Baltimore bench. And Chinapoo sending that ball up into the third deck.
Kenny Cooper with a quick look at the scoreboard as we see Jim Gorsuch the other way, making an easy play. Tossing it upfield, 10 seconds to go. Chinapoo heads it back upfield, broken up. 7 seconds left in the third quarter. 7-2 San Diego. Segota still carrying. That's it. The horn sounds. That's the end of 3. Baltimore needs a miracle comeback here in the fourth quarter if they're going to stop their 7-game road losing streak. But San Diego is tough when they lead after 3 quarters of play. They're tough, for that matter, anytime. They lead 7-2 as we look at miscellanea. Shep, things go from bad to worse. Baltimore has 2 minor penalties posted on the board. The first was for the tripping infraction on Ronson along those near boards. The second one, we saw a yellow card flashed, and I would assume, without hearing a call, that it's for dissent or unsportsmanlike conduct.
It's got to be Stan Stamenkovic still shaking his head at the ref. Watch Addy Coker. Billy Ronson's going to come in, go in with a hard tackle along the boards. Here it is. We lose the ball, but actually right up against the boards. It's not always the severity of the foul. Sometimes it's the intent. Billy Ronson coming in with intent to make that tackle along the boards. Ronson to the box, and now Stamenkovic for dissent going to the box as well. Yellow cards issued to both players, and we'll see San Diego now on the attack, 5 against 3.
And they're already 3 for 3 in the power play. Segota for Hermes, back for Branko Segota. Woolrich outside the box, holding it, gives it, quick shot wide, not by much. Segota really blasted that one. That may have dented the missile sign. Woolrich the other way again for V, trying to play it right back, broken up, backheel pass, dangerous, but cleared out by Bruce Savage.
And again, 5 on 3, you should play the ball 1 touch. I know the San Diego guys are trying to get that ball to Branko.
V most definitely was looking for Segota on that. Woolrich shooting it off the post. Rebound score, Juan Hermes, 8-2 San Diego. 4 for 4 on the power play.
I'll tell you what, this team is tough. Wad Hermes putting a finish on 4 consecutive passes. This San Diego team on the power play, just terrific. Let's watch the shot. That ball off the boards. Woolrich keeps it alive. That's the key play. Woolrich to Wad Hermes. Wad Hermes again. Picture perfect. Sends that ball high. Here's the shot by Wilrich. Now watch Wilrich follow it up. He's going to end up winning his own rebound in the box, and that's the key to the goal. There's Wilrich. Out to Hermes. Hermes up high. It's 8-2, and Wyatt Hermes celebrating.
Hermes' 10th goal of the year. Gene Wilrich gets the assist. So Wilrich has a couple of goals and 1 assist. San Diego obviously very happy because they're in control. They lead over Baltimore 8-2. We'll be back with the conclusion of the game in just a moment. We're back. We take a look at Ron Newman and the San Diego Sockers. It shouldn't be any mystery, Shep, but when you're up already by 7-2, the fresher team is the team that's the winning team. Everybody else is down as we take a look at San Diego. The game's not over, but it may as well be as far as they're concerned. With 7-1 to go, they have an 8-2 lead, and they look awesome.
And look at this, only in the MISL. Look at Ron Newman and these players. The rapport, the interaction they have with the community here. These fans love this team, and it's really the same in every other MISL city, that identification between the team and the fans.
The other man in the sport jacket that doesn't get any credit here is Johan Arnio. He is the assistant coach of Ron Newman. And all you hear about, of course, is Ron Newman because he is the head coach. But a lot of teams in the MISL have assistant coaches, and Arnio has been Ron Newman's right-hand man as we look at Wyatt Hermes, or Chacha Namdar, I'm sorry, right there with Ron Newman.
Wyatt Hermes having a super game. His friends call him the Animal. If his friends call him Animal, what do his
enemies call him, right? That's what you wanted to say.
Thanks.
11,852 on hand to watch this one. Hermes leaving it back for Jim Gorsuch. You notice the heads were down on Baltimore's part. Second effort was there for San Diego, and they still have a power play with 1:01 to go. That goal only killed off 1 penalty. Woolrich. Stamenkovic still in the box. 8-2. San Diego convincing. Woolrich going opposite side for Hermes, who's looking for a hat trick. Segota may crank. He does off the post, loose. Van Aaron missing it. He pushed by the Coker. Play continues. Julie B. I know you like it when the goalkeepers get physical.
That's good stuff. The crowd going nuts. Keith Van Aaron actually missed. He fanned on the ball. Frustration, he took a whack at Eddie Coker, but I like it. If there's no blood, no foul.
Chinabu coming back when Woolrich got a piece of that. 15 seconds left. Well, the crowd's involved. Segota the other way. You'll hear the boos change if San Diego puts another one home. Woolrich shot. Look at Coker trying to get in there and stick his nose in. The penalty on Stamenkovic is up. Kicked away from Stan Rodson there, so is Gorsuch. Clears it to Woolrich. No panic, Gene Woolrich. With 2 players right there. Hermes blocked by Billy Rodson. Now Boriano. Losing it to Adi Coker. Getting very close to a dangerous play, but not quite for me. Van Aaron is out. Now he's back in. It's an 8-2. San Diego lead. 5:15 to go.
And I'll tell you, it's wild, though. Nobody's left this stadium. San Diego pressing. Crowd going wild. They love this hockey.
They're noisier now than they were at the beginning. And it gets louder and louder as Quinn still moves with an 8-2 lead. Bringing it back out. Rodson on him. Backheeling it for Crow. For Coker, right back for Crow. That doesn't miss by too much. The intent was there. Stamenkovic setting it long. He saw Gorsuch coming out.
Great idea by Stan Stamenkovic. He got that ball in the midfield. Gorsuch was out of his box. Stamenkovic looked up, cracked the ball just wide of goal.
Kevin Crow with it. 4.5 to go. 8-2 San Diego. And if Baltimore has been playing the last 7 games on the road like this, it's no wonder they have not come up with a result. Stamenkovic going long. Broken up. Chinapu shooting it wide. Crow heads it down, and Gorsuch there ahead of Lashoff. Ahead it comes on the far side. Adi Coker on the run. Quinn is wide open in the box. Now gets it outside the box as Coker runs in. Segota sees his man Clavillo. Fernando holds, cranks off the glass. Segota missing on the follow-up. Quinn may not. Gives to Segota. Bronco right back. Clavillo puts it upstairs. But unselfish play, unselfish passing as the crowd looks spellbound.
Well, they love it. And no doubt San Diego trying to feed that ball to Segota. Clavijo had an opportunity. We look at the crowd. They're getting that ball to Segota. This crowd erupting, booing right now, Keith Van Aaron.
3 minutes, 53 seconds to go. And it's an 8-2 lead for the San Diego Sockers. I've never seen Baltimore struggle like this. They've had some injury problems. Some players have not come through for them like Kenny Cooper would have wanted them to. If all it took was the effort of a coach to win, though, Baltimore would be right there because Kenny Cooper works as hard as any coach in the MISL. But when you look at the Eastern Division, you've got Don Popovic in Pittsburgh. He's won 4 championships. Pittsburgh, right with everyone else. Chicago, right with everyone else. Dallas, Cleveland, Minnesota. Tim Whitman.
You mentioned earlier, JP, Minnesota having outstanding success against San Diego. And really, that's going to be a factor, something we're going to look for maybe in the playoffs.
Lead ball, look at Bronco, punched out Van Aaron. Oh, he risked his body, and then Segota is hunched over in that collision with Van Aaron.
Great collision, great effort by Segota. Great play by Keith Van Aaron. Bronco up and limping.
Shows you the courage of a goalkeeper, especially with a lead like this for San Diego. Van Aaron still went after that as if it was a 1-1 tie. Whitman for Buriano. Lost it. He'll get it back. Tries it, but it's wide of the far post. Last shot. Knocked away. Segota is okay now. There's Bronco. Leading it for Woolrich. Right back to the score. Passing by San Diego. They lead 9-2.
Fernando Clavijo. This crowd going nuts up on the glass. Beautiful passing. Finished by Clavijo. This stadium is rocking. Watch Woolrich, and Woolrich has had an outstanding game. He draws the defender. He puts it to Clavijo. Clavijo. Goal. Keith Van Aaron. No chance at all. And again, it's the pass from Woolrich. He waits. He waits. And now, when the defender commits, he slips it to Clavijo. Clavijo. A great, great goal by San Diego.
And remember who started it. Bronco Segota with a beautiful pass for Gene Woolrich. Clavijo supporting the run to the right. And he gets the ball because this San Diego team is really an unselfish team. Poor Baltimore, 9-2. They trail 2:59. They look good in the first few minutes of the game. They look real good. Van Aaron throwing something, or trying to throw something, back into the crowd, some debris that was tossed at him. But remember the first, 5 or 6 minutes, Baltimore was putting some pressure on. And instead, it comes back the other way, and then it's all San Diego. Want to remind everyone that this Thursday night, it's an Adams Division matchup featuring Boston and Montreal, a great rivalry. The Canadians right now in second place in the Adams Division. Boston trying to hold on to a playoff spot. The Bruins must win to stay in the playoff picture. ESPN has it all for you. It's your home for the 1986 Stanley Cup playoffs. We bring you Montreal at Boston live Thursday here on ESPN. Less than 3 minutes to go in this one. Long pass the other way. Kevin Kroll draws the beat on it, but Ronson gets it. Ronson has been one of the few bright lights for Baltimore, if there is a such thing when you lose 9-2. Chinapu played it in the box, broken up. Ronson all the way back for Bruce Savage. Broken up again, San Diego. Too much firepower here. Long pass, and that's caught on the Baltimore bench by Franz Matthew. Tough position for the Blast players to be in. A lot of pride. It starts with their coach on down, and they're really getting pasted here tonight.
Well, there's no doubt Kenny Cooper feeling it more than anybody. Self-imposed pressure. Kenny spoke to us before. He said, I don't even like being 500 or near 500. And they're certainly taking a beating today.
Last shot for Savage. Low shot save. Rebound loose. McWilliams can't squeeze it home. 9-2 San Diego. Gorsuch will roll it left.
And certainly in the battle of the goalkeepers, no reflection on their individual play today. But going into the game as the two top goalkeepers in the league, Keith Van Aaron taking a pasting in terms of goals against. Gorsuch, so far only 2.
Really, he's not had all that many saves that he's had to make. 1:48 to go. Ruotolo giving it up. Hermes with a couple of goals. Would love the hat trick. He goes for it. Shoots it wide. Segota after it. But it's Billy Ronson who wins it. is upended by Woolridge somewhere in that pile. And a tripping foul is called.
Taurus Capriccian right on top of the play. Calls that for Baltimore. Savage, again, one of the bright lights I saw out there today. Tough, hard-nosed young American defender. He didn't quit. He's out there kicking. He's out there playing defense. He's going forward. Bruce Savage, going to be a player for many years to come in this league.
Franz Matthew giving it off to Timmy Whitman. Whitman holding it. One of several Baltimore All-Stars for Lashoff. It's a strange game, indoor soccer. There's not really 7 goals difference between two teams like this, but on a given night there can be, and that's what we've got here. Lashoff looking as San Diego is just systematically picked apart the Baltimore Blast. The Ronson shot is blocked and it goes into the crowd. 54 seconds are left, and then there's going to be one tremendous ovation for the San Diego Sockers. People wondered what motivation they would have, but I'll tell you what, a team that can play against the Russians, the Germans during the regular season and get up for those teams and beat them, a team that has won 31 games already, clinched everything, but still put it all together here with this one. Franz Matthew puts it in play. Lashoff still looking, setting it in, a score. Dave McWilliams from Mike Lashoff, but it's going to be too little and definitely too late for Baltimore.
Davey McWilliams, number 6 from Philadelphia, All-American, All-Star player. Watch this ball come from Lashev to McWilliams in the box, off the crossbar and in the goal. Davey McWilliams getting the feed from Lashev. Watch again, Lashev come and cut the ball at a very sharp angle. He turns almost 180, cuts this ball back, and it's Davey McWilliams from Philadelphia. A hard-working star on this team, and he tucks that ball off the crossbar and into the goal.
14-14 is the time of it. 33 seconds are left as we're back on the action. San Diego leading 9-3. Julie Vig leaving it off. Segota holding. Giving it up for Clavillo. Opposite side for Segota. 16 seconds are left. Bronco try to dish it off to Quinn, and the Blast break up field. Baltimore 3-on-3 on the right. Lashoff off the boards, broken up by the San Diego Sockers. They will have the ball as time will run out in Baltimore. 9-3. San Diego just takes the Baltimore Blast apart here on ESPN. The only thing you can say about this is that San Diego really played at their best, and Baltimore certainly played far from their best. And when that happens, you'll see a big goal differential.
There's no doubt. San Diego knows they're on ESPN. They're sending a message to every other team in the league.
And the message is, watch out. The San Diego Sockers are looking for their 5th straight championship. The Sockers win over Baltimore. 9-3 is the final. We'll tell you about it. Come back. Well, too much Gene Woolridge, a couple goals, couple assists, 2 goals by Walt Hermes and 2 by Eddie Coker. And San Diego, that score really doesn't even tell you the story. San Diego Chef really takes Baltimore apart 9-3.
No doubt, Baltimore concentrating, trying to feel the pressure of staying in that hot race in the East, and they couldn't make it today against San Diego.
You couldn't make that Eastern Division any closer. The West, San Diego has first place clinched, but they got a big victory here tonight against the Baltimore Blast. Final score from San Diego. The Sockers have defeated Baltimore 9-3. For Shep Messing, I'm John Paul Della Camera. We bid you a pleasant good day from San Diego. The MISL on ESPN has been brought to you by Bud Light, the light beer with a first name and taste. Everything else is just a light. By today's Head & Shoulders for dandruff care that's good for your hair. By Metropolitan Life and affiliated companies. Get Met, it pays. And by Improved Chapstick Lip Balm, protection that feels softer. This has been a presentation of Anheuser-Busch Sports Productions through the facilities of ESPN.